Welcome to Her Story, the podcast where we share the real, behind-the-scenes journeys of founders who are shaping our Space Coast and Treasure Coast communities.
This show is about the stories that don't always make it to social media, the turning points, the risks, the lessons learned, and the moments that quietly change everything.
We sit down with founders and small business leaders to talk about where they started, what they've overcome, and what it truly takes to build something meaningful.
Her Story is produced in partnership with weVENTURE Women's Business Center. It elevates small businesses and inspires the next generation of entrepreneurs to pursue their ideas with confidence.
You do not have to build alone. There's an entire community ready to help take your ideas from vision to reality.
Whether you're a business owner or a dreamer in the early stages, or someone who loves supporting small businesses, this show is for you.
This is Her Story.
Meghan, welcome to the Her Story podcast. We are so excited to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Yeah, thank you both so much for having me. I'm super excited for this. So my name is Meghan Wolfgram, and I am the founder of Swift Paws. And in a nutshell, we make dog toys.
So fun. I love it. What a fun job.
Yeah, and it actually, this has been years and years and years in the making, but recently we're not even just for dogs anymore. We're expanding into cats and other pets as well.
All inclusive.
Awesome. All inclusive, that's right. All pets deserve a little bit of enrichment.
So how many years is that?
I think this is year 14. I founded
Wow.
Swift Paws in 2012, and I had gotten started with the activity that got me into this the year before that.
We'd love to hear kind of the highlights of how you got into this and kind of what that journey's looked like.
Yeah, so it actually started the same year that I graduated from university with a bachelor's degree in economics. I was not thinking about starting a business at all. So this for me has been a very organic and sort of community-driven journey from the very beginning. And I want people to wear that hat when they're thinking about this and they're looking at where we are now. Because I promise you, if I had started with this end goal in mind, I probably would have done things faster, differently. But I'm also really grateful for it having been such a slow and organic journey, because you get to take your time and you get to kind of like take things one step at a time.
You've grown with the business.
Exactly.
And like learned about yourself through all that process.
100%. And so with that, right, like with that frame of mind, like Meghan wasn't trying to start an empire. I graduated and I ultimately decided to take the summer off. So I wasn't going to look for a job right away. I wanted to give myself a break. So my idea of a break and a good time was to do dog agility with the dog that I had at the time.
You're already in that community?
I was. So I've always been a pet lover, and I grew up with a little dog named Snickers, who we called I'm an only child, so we referred to her as my sister growing up. I have a big extended family, lots of cousins, but and just in the home it was me, and that dog was like my sister growing up. Yeah.
Aww.
And then when I was 16 years old, I got what would be like the first dog that was all mine. So Pretzel was a little miniature pinscher.
Oh,
yes.
I love mid-pins.
He was
Mid-pin. I'm obsessed with them on Instagram.
such personality, and like the tiniest little dog body. So this dog, like imagine 16-year-old me, he's the first dog that I'm making all the decisions for. So I choose what he eats, his nutrition. I'm taking him to the vet. So it was really the first.
Wait, why is that?
Well, because with Snickers, we got her when I was 8 years old. So as an 8-year-old, like my parents were making the decisions about vet care and nutrition. And like, obviously I did a lot with her, and I would see something on TV, like the dogs doing the jumps and stuff, and I would put a broomstick between chairs. So I was very,
obstacles.
all of it, the training, the everything.
Yeah.
But with Pretzel, he was the first dog that was like all mine, and I'm making all the grown-up decisions about
Mom
his
and Dad
care.
didn't set it up that way? Were
Yeah,
they
well,
like,
so
Meghan,
it was my
this is your
push. I was like, I want this dog. I want a dog that's all
Want the
mine.
responsibility.
So I'm not sure they had a choice. I was like, I'm gonna choose what vet I go to and what food he eats. So it was more like I was taking the initiative. And we actually still had Snickers. She was getting older at the time. But really, he was like my little sidekick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so by the time I graduated, I had been doing dog agility a little bit just for fun, never seriously, locally. And so I thought, I'll take the summer off. And at the end of the summer, I'll lay down the summer vibes and go look for a real job.
Yeah, because economics and pet toys are not typically like a thing you do.
A component of being an entrepreneur.
But totally.
It has helped, but I will say that like I firmly thought I was going to get a job at maybe an investment bank or, you know, some, or
That's
maybe
what I was going to ask. What were you planning on doing with that econ degree?
Yeah, so really just go into something finance related. I've always enjoyed like modeling, like a fun side story. When I was 8 years old, right? The very, very meaningful year in my life. I got my first dog around that time, Snickers, that I had begged for forever. Also, my parents have been entrepreneurs themselves and ran their own business for many, many years when I was younger. So when I was 8 years old, my parents did two things with me. My mom sat me down and brought up an Excel spreadsheet. And she was
so exciting.
So exciting. And she was like, let's model a business. This is how business works.
In the third grade?
As an 8-year-old. But I think she saw that I had interest in things. So she was like, let's do it off of like, I had hamsters, right? Just as pets. She was like, well, let's say that you were going to breed hamsters and sell hamsters. Bad idea, by the way. This was not a business that we were doing. I don't recommend it. This was just a teaching moment. So she was like, if you bred hamsters, if you had to pay this much for food, and this is how, and then you sold each hamster for this much, and she taught me literally how to model like a very basic business on Excel.
So cool.
And you were into it?
And I was like,
really interested.
This is cool. This whole, I didn't understand it fully, but I was like, this is neat. I can see how you put in your inputs and you get the outputs, and there's some left over, and that's your profit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they brought me into the bank, and they helped me open up a Roth IRA. And they said, now you're going to start working for some money for your chores. And then the money that you earn, you can, and I think that first year I put like $80. But they're like,
a lot
the money for an 8-year-old, the money that you earn, you can put into your Roth IRA. So those two like fundamental finance things, right?
That's so cool.
And I'm so grateful and so privileged to have parents who are thinking about that for me at that young. And because they were running their own business, I think they also saw the benefit of like teaching that. And I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I think that set me up to eventually think about economics as a degree, more so than just a basic business degree as well.
Yeah.
Specifically the inputs, the outputs, the levers, like you pull this string and this changes over here. I've always been very interested in those dynamics. But I wasn't thinking about starting a business. So I didn't graduate thinking I was going to start a business. So fast forward, I was doing dog agility, having fun, and I wanted to see what other dog sports I could try with Pretzel. And my agility trainer is the person who told me, she was like, the most fun I've ever had is doing this thing called lure coursing. And I was like, what? Like, what words did you even say?
Right.
I was like, I didn't even
mean.
What is that? So lure, like a fishing lure,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I think of.
Yes, and then coursing, you're thinking about a course, like an agility course. But this is where, if you've ever seen a dog chase after a fake squirrel or rabbit, that's what lure coursing is. So it was already an established sport, but at the time in 2011, if you didn't have a sight hound breed, so greyhound, whippet, right? Think about the typical sight hounds, the dogs that are bred to chase after stuff by sight. You literally were not allowed to compete.
They wouldn't let that's discrimination.
In this, a little bit of doggy
discrimination.
A little bit of doggy discrimination.
Interesting, but they would deny you. They would turn you away.
You couldn't even enter. So it was a sport made for sight hounds, and that sport's been around since the 70s. Well, I mean, think about how many dogs like to chase stuff.
Yeah.
I know, big dogs, little dogs,
Yeah.
like all breeds, mixed breeds, like most dogs like to chase. So I knew I wanted to try it. And there's nowhere to do it in the state of Florida. There was a club. Yeah, this is a long time ago. I'm aging myself. I'm dating myself. But this is many years ago. So there was a club in Georgia that was having a sanctioned event. And I wrote them an email. I was like, hey, I know that I can't, like, he's a miniature pinscher. I know he can't compete. But if I pay an entry fee and drive up there, like, could we just give it a try? And they wrote me back. They were so polite. And now having run so many events, I understand their frame of mind. So they were like, look, if there's room at the end of the day, and if the lure operator and the judge are okay with it, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, that's very kind, but I can't drive 8 hours and book a hotel room on a maybe. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's not going to work. So I was like, well, how expensive can it be? I'll buy a machine. So that sent me down the rabbit hole of the equipment. Because I was like, I'll just get one. And then if he likes it, maybe I'll let my agility friends use it. I was just, why not? How hard can it be? Famous last words. The equipment at the time was $4,000 to $6,000.
That's a little bit for a new college student.
I wasn't even a starving college student. I was a broke recent college grad without a job.
Yes, that's the whole category.
That was not happening. And so then I thought, maybe I'll make a machine. So my dad is pretty handy. He's a pretty handy guy. And I thought, okay, how hard can that be?
Dad, how you love me.
So it was my dad and I's summer project.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fails. We had some contraptions that we put together, a bicycle thing. We're okay, this is a lot not
and it was just the two of you all summer working on this.
Just dad and me.
That is so cool.
Yeah, but it was really fun. So again, not thinking about making a business out of this. By the end of the summer, we had I'll call it a crude but working machine. That was rough around the edges, but it was working.
Yeah.
And Pretzel loved it. It was he found his calling in life.
His purpose.
He was this is it. This is what I was born to do. And so now we're in September. Right?
And I'm what year?
Of 2011.
Okay.
So I'm the end of that, summer's ended.
Summer's ending. Megan still doesn't have a job.
So at this point, where was your head about work and life and adulting?
Yeah. So I was I need to start applying and I need to start interviewing. And so what I thought was one last hurrah. I built this thing and I was talking with my agility trainer again. And I was like, you know what? Pretzel thinks this is so cool. What if we just did an event, invited all of my agility friends out just for fun at the end of the summer as a big
barbecue.
Yeah. We literally made pulled pork, played music. A friend of mine who had a horse farm let me use her front pasture.
Oh, wow.
Just a big community effort, right?
Yeah.
So in October, we hosted this event. Made up a little flyer and just said, come out, let your dog run, have a good time.
Yeah.
And the word got out.
Oh my God, you're going to tell me that 1,000 people showed up.
It felt like 1,000. It was 60.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But my local agility group was maybe 10 people in my class.
Oh.
So it was...
Who are these people?
They told their friends and they told their friends. And then other agility clubs found out. So it became way bigger than we expected. So it was okay, cool. But
people all over Florida then?
We had people as far south as Vero coming up. I think one person came over from Orlando who heard about it. It was crazy. It was crazy. So we did this event and it was super fun. Everybody enjoyed it. And at the event, as people were leaving, they're that was really cool. They're when's the next one? And I was wow. So that is my origination story. Is it started out as just a one-off, this is just one thing to do.
Yeah.
That turned into maybe we could do one next month. It became a once a month event, which we still do to this day, but not as frequently because Swift Paws has taken over. But we still do community events. So it started as a community event that a year later turned into, hey, there was somebody from the west coast of Florida who said, I'd love to do this in my community. Where did you get that machine? So then it was okay, well, we built it and maybe we could build 5 or 10 of these machines. And
the machine was great. It did well at the event.
Yeah.
No hiccup.
There were things that we would have loved to see improved, which is what eventually led to our patents, right? So then you can see how that, the rabbit hole keeps going. Exactly. Yeah. So it all just was so piece by piece and so organic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the best way to go about all this because everything is a surprise. Everything's a win for you.
Yeah.
And imagine I'm working for my friend who's a veterinarian at the time, and I'm house sitting and pet sitting.
So you picked up side jobs. You kept this other passion going.
This was a passion project. This was not intended to be a business.
I wonder if you were subconsciously like putting off the finance thing and going on that path because you're doing all these things in the dog world.
It definitely became a year by year. So like every year I'd kind of evaluate like, where am I at? Am I happy doing what I'm doing? Do I feel like I'm missing out on like career development? And so it was sort of like this, maybe not fully conscious, but like, am I willing to do another year, like pursue this for another year?
Yeah.
And I feel like I kept getting like little tiny signals.
Yeah.
Like that first year, it was like, okay, so we had this person who wanted this machine for their community.
Right.
And then that turned into, okay, several more people had emailed me. Like one person from Texas was like, oh, I do like, he was doing like trailing, like search and rescue.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he was like, I'd love to do, he was over in Florida, he saw it, and he was like, I would love to do this in my community as a fundraiser for my search and rescue group.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I just kept getting like these little validations that like, there's more here.
More people wanted it. More people recognized it.
Yeah.
There's a
being
need.
valuable.
Yeah, very demand driven, very like community driven. And almost at the same time, like I was not the business minded person. And I'm sure we'll talk about this more, but I ended up starting Swift Paws with a business partner who was like, I was in my 20s, he was in his 60s. He kind of came out of retirement to help me make these machines. He was more business minded. Yeah, exactly. Family friend, had known him for years and years and years, still are very close, even though, we'll talk about this later, but even though we parted ways several years on, he was the one who said, well, we've got a few people asking, what if we made 10 of these? What if we, so the whole premise of starting Swift Paws was to make 5 or 10 of these machines that my dad and I had made for other people to do this.
Those events,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, just to share that experience.
Yeah.
That's neat. Not to take it to market, but to...
Right, more like we had this inbound like requests from other dog trainers and people who were like, that thing is cool.
Yeah,
I want that too.
Can we have one? And you're like, I guess so, right?
Yeah, like why not? Like if we can
out.
figure out a way to make these and like make a little bit of money, but spoiler alert, like nobody got paid for the first 7 years of the business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so when I say organic, I mean organic.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the big turning points in this journey, because I mean, how cool is it? It was so organic, it was so natural, and then it slowly over time evolved itself, right? So what are some of the big turning points that happened? Because you had a business partner. Tell us a little bit about how that panned out.
Yeah, Kylie, I mean, you're so right. And I think any business is going to have several moments in time that you can go back and look at. So what ended up happening was I was running this company that still exists today. It's called Lure Course Brevard. That was the events.
That was
right?
the event. So
That's
you ended up naming it and making it into a business because you grew out of your spaces, right?
Oh, we outgrew the horse farm the first month so that was October. I think we did it in November. Either by December or January, we actually outgrew that space, had to form an LLC, started doing events at Wickham Park. Anybody locally will know.
All that stuff.
Needed more room, needed more parking room, needed bathrooms. The whole deal.
Yeah.
So that then was an amazing ability to every single month get in front of people who are using
your target audience.
Yeah, what would be the product? So when my business partner at the time, his name is John. So when he and I formed Swift Paws the next year, we would be like tinkering around because we're trying to come up with how do we make this machine, but do it in a way that's more like efficient. Not just one, how do we make 5? How do we make 10?
Yeah.
So it took quite a lot of iteration. So we'd be like literally building in his garage and he'd be tinkering and he'd be coming up with these ideas. Then that next month's event, I'd take it out onto the field.
Oh, and then test it
out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so perfect.
Yeah. So one of the first big turning points was when we started doing events for Swift Paws outside of Lure Course Brevard. Because obviously I was already doing it in my community. It's not like there was a ton of other people wanting to do that here. And so for Swift Paws, we had our first like 5 or so customers lined up, ready to go. But then I was like, well, we we could see if other people want this too.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting an event that was like call it just like a open to the public pet event, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a pet expo where you could bring your dog out, see a bunch of vendors. And he ended up connecting with the people running it. And he said, well, what if we ran a lure course at this event as something for people to do?
Okay, it was an established
Yes.
event. Okay.
So the event was, and this was a company that did them in several different locations around the U.S. So they would do one in, Denver, Colorado, and one in Houston, Texas.
So they traveled. It was
Yes.
like a traveling thing.
Yes. So we found out about it because they had one, I think it was West Palm or Fort Lauderdale was that area, and Orlando. So the Orlando event was the first one that we did. And because it was really close by, we could drive over there, test it out. And so we did. So we went to this event in Orlando. We set up a course, and just to help pay for our gas money, we said, okay, pay us a few bucks and we'll let your dog give it a try. But the target wasn't the people letting their dogs try it. The hope was that somebody as a vendor, because the vendors are dog trainers, doggy daycares.
Right. They would want one maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that sparked what would be our next phase of Swift Paws. So we spent the first roughly 6-7 years traveling the country to events like that.
6 or 7 years.
A long time.
That's like
A long
B2B,
time.
basically,
B2B.
right?
We
Targeting the
had no
trainers.
consumer product. This was
Yeah.
just, but what we got to see uniquely was we'd go to these events. We'd run 100 or more dogs.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
for
from people
testing.
who got there. And
Yeah.
and the people would turn to their partner, whoever they were with, while their dog is having the time of their life and say, oh my God, we need this in our backyard.
And you started hearing more and more of this.
I heard thousands
So
and
you
thousands of
started
people
getting
say
the
that.
data.
So we were there because they'd go, oh, can we buy it? Well, yeah. Okay, how much is it? It's like $3,000.
Never
Better than 4 to 6, but,
You're right.
but still very expensive. And so they go, oh, maybe not for my backyard, because we were there trying to sell it to the business people who were there.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we wouldn't come home with a machine. We'd have the local dog trainer come up and go, how many people did you run? And you're charging $10. So you're telling me that you just made $1,000 and I paid money to be here?
I want this.
They saw the value in it.
Yeah.
So it was a really good B2B event for us.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It's perfect.
But you get worn down hearing thousands and thousands and thousands of people say how badly they wish that there was one that they could put in their
You
backyard.
gotta listen to the people.
calling to you.
That's it. And it I wish that I could say that I was this visionary who just knew. No, I had to be beat over the head by
I think I've heard this 10,000 times. Maybe we should do something about it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
But
remember
it's scary.
having
It's a big thing to take on.
oh my gosh, it's like starting a whole new business.
Yeah.
So I remember having the conversations with John going do you think we could do it? It's completely different. You have to imagine the professional grade machines, they took a lot of effort to figure out how to make. We were making them in batches of 5 to 10 at a time. It was everything the two of us had. Neither of us were getting paid.
This was still seriously just the two of you.
2 people.
Tinkering
Yeah.
and making with your bare hands.
Yes.
Whoa.
We were
Wow.
physically doing all of
and
it.
then you were running them, and then you were
And then we would
fixing
go to
them.
these
You
events.
really weren't sleeping for
Well,
6 years.
kind of. I mean, sleep is important, but at the same time, if you're traveling to an event,
Yeah.
you're up
on
at
the
6
road.
a.m.
You're on the road.
Yeah, and we would do probably at our peak, it was at least one event a month, and then some months it
Dang,
was
that's
more.
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So in this time, you have to imagine too, I was so grateful because good friends of mine who run a local small animal veterinary practice, I was working for them.
So they gave you flexibility.
Oh, yeah,
because-
originally full-time.
Yeah.
And then they're so supportive. As Swift Paws grew and demanded more, they let me go to 4 days a week, and then 3 days a week, and then 2 days a week.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean,
But it must have been so exciting for them.
so
Yeah,
exciting and
yeah.
such a good thing, but also for them to be willing to do
Yeah,
that when they
good.
could have said honestly, Megan, 2 days a week, we'll just hire somebody else. And it would have been so
yeah,
fair.
It's such a blessing.
They
that
were so
supported
kind.
you.
That's
So
huge
kind.
support.
Exactly. So I have been so incredibly supported by this community and by the
Yeah.
people who believe in me and what I'm doing. So so that's really what it was. The turning points were one person who asked for the machine and then figuring out how do we sell this to other people. So
Yeah.
those events were big. Then completely unrelated to selling to businesses, hearing from people just whose dogs got to try it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we've never seen anything like this before. This is amazing. My dog loved it. I need this in my backyard.
Yeah.
And that, by the time I listened,
Yeah.
it was like 2016. And there was an event where I finally kind of snapped. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to make it. We're going to try to do it. We're going to try to make a backyard version. And if we ever get there, if you put your email down on this, it was like a piece of paper.
You just started collecting.
I was like,
"Put your name here."
we're going to try. We're going to try to do it. We're going to try to come up with a
You don't
backyard
wanna
version.
say no.
And we'll let you know if we ever get there. So I think it was about 2016 when we first, I put that paper down and somebody wrote their email on it.
Oh, it's so cool.
I
Yes.
still have it.
I still have several. So then at every event, we'd have a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And this is like old school, no typing it in, just
Yeah.
So between then and when we launched our first consumer version on a Kickstarter campaign, I had amassed several hundred emails.
On paper.
Yeah, that I now had to go back and try to read.
Ooh, that's fun.
Note to self.
That's a learning lesson.
There's apps now.
Make them type that in. Yeah,
it's
technology's
much
our
different.
friend. But it was such a blessing too, because I knew these are people who had gotten a chance to try it, who had asked if it was for sale,
Yeah.
who put their email
Already
down.
vetted.
They
Absolutely.
already had intention.
Super high intent. They were opt-ins.
Yeah.
So that it's sort of that, again, very slow, very organic process.
Yeah.
So that tipping point happened in about, by the time we launched the Kickstarter campaign, 2018.
Okay.
So it took us quite a while from like realizing I really
Yeah.
wanted to do this,
Yeah.
convincing John, because he was kind of like, we just got good at making these professional grade versions.
Yeah.
And at this time, a big turning point happened for us. We were using silicone molds, which anybody who's ever played with that knows that those molds only last so long.
Oh.
They have a workable lifespan, at which point you have to refresh the silicone, which is not entirely inexpensive. So we had exhausted the lifespan. We had made about 100 professional grade machines.
Wow.
In 7 years.
A lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. And we had a little bit of money in the bank. Mind you, nobody had been paid, but there was a little money in the bank, which was great.
Because you're all working other jobs.
We were all just hustling. And we had about enough money to renew those molds to make another 100 pro grade machines. And so we kind of sat down with each other and we thought, okay, do we invest all this money into renewing the molds, or do we invest this money into trying to make a backyard version? It was a big decision.
Yeah.
So we decided that we were going to put professional grade machines on hold and go all in on trying to make a backyard version.
And that decision-making process, was it unanimous? Was there a little bit of convincing that you had to do with John?
I think we had to convince each other because
I kind of like
you're
that.
turning off all of your revenue.
Yeah.
Like we knew that there would be a portion of time where we would have nothing to sell.
Yeah.
And so we had to convince ourselves that like it was worth making a wait, because
That
also
it made sense.
people knew about our professional grade machines now.
Yeah.
Like the word was starting to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And the same year that we founded Swift Paws, this is just good timing, the American Kennel Club opened up a version of the sport to all breeds.
Oh, timing is everything.
So like right place, right time, here we were
Yeah.
with a piece of equipment that was really well suited. You have to understand that the historic equipment is really strong. It's stronger than my pro grade machine. If you're running a Greyhound, you need a lot of power.
Yeah.
But if you're running like a Yorkie,
Chihuahua. Or a Shih Tzu.
yeah, you don't always need 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we had a machine that was variable speed, like a gas pedal. You could run it slow, you could run it fast, and it might not have been as powerful as the really big machines to run Greyhounds, but this new sport is only 100 yards. So the sport is called Fast Cat, which is a little confusing, but it stands
for dogs.
It's for dogs. It stands for Coursing Ability Test.
Oh.
Yes, and it's in a straight line. So it's just a straight line, and they track their speed.
Oh.
So you calculate how
okay.
fast the dog is going. So the dogs aren't racing simultaneously. It's just one dog at a time.
Yeah.
And our professional grade machine is really well suited for that. It's incredibly safe.
Cool.
It runs that length of line really efficiently, and you can do variable speed, which is so nice when you have slow and fast dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So that had started to take off. It became the fastest growing canine sport in the country.
Oh my
In
gosh,
the next
talk about
several
perfect
years.
timing.
Serendipity.
Right? So now we had a lot of demand for like clubs that wanted to run this sport. So we really had to decide, like, we're going to stop making this. We're going to make a waiting list because we'd love to make them again, but we won't have any. And then we're going to go all in and put every dime we have into trying to make a backyard version.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because you have to really believe that there was some hope and success waiting for you.
I was in my 20s. I was a believer. I had so much energy. And so I was like, nothing can ever go wrong. So.
There's something to say about being a little naive. Like it's a good thing sometimes. It fuels that passion when you're not scared.
Well, and you guys know, like when you're an entrepreneur, you have to be an optimist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You have to be realistic too, but you have to have that hope. You have to have that optimism or you're not going to take the risk. And the risk it's so inherent with business. It's really, really hard to ever have 100% security and also be able to do something new and different and on your own.
Yeah.
So with that comes, sometimes you're a little too optimistic, but with this, I had studied so many, at the time, Kickstarter was in its heyday.
Yes.
It's evolved, but this was in that time frame where there were a lot of really successful campaigns. I had studied them. So that was what I had to convince John of. I was like, I think we can run a successful Kickstarter campaign. He's like, okay, that's your wheelhouse. He was like, I'm good at making stuff in the garage and I've got this side of it and I'm business minded, but that online stuff, like
mumbo jumbo,
you go for it.
Digital stuff.
But to his credit, he was like, if you believe in it, I believe in it.
Aww,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. And so he really let me take the reins on doing a whole plan. We plan, and I get to talk to people who have tried to run stuff like that in the future, and they come to me and they're like, yeah, we want to launch in a month. I'm like,
well, sister, let me tell you.
I spent like 6 months hardcore planning this campaign. So the more you put into something, it's like so many things in life, right? You get out what you put in.
Yeah.
I spent 6 months meticulously getting this campaign to launch. So I think we'll skip ahead a little bit. We launched our first backyard version with the Kickstarter. I think we wanted to raise like $20,000. We ended up raising like $73,000.
Holy smokes.
Incredible.
So talk about another moment of validation.
Yeah.
Then we thought we could ship in 6 months. It took us a year, took us twice as long, and cost us about twice as much as we raised.
And how did that feel?
Whew, that is a big lesson.
Yeah.
So with great success sometimes comes mo money, mo problems.
What movie is that from?
I don't remember. I love it.
Yeah, it's a classic line.
It's so true sometimes too, because think about it. We had made 100 professional grade machines in 7 years.
Yeah.
And in the first production of home, we made 1,000.
Oh my God.
It's a very fast way to 10x your business and 10x everything else.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in that early part of 2019, because it took us a while, so the Kickstarter was 2018, we started shipping in 2019. That is the same time that my business partner came to me and he said, this is looking like a full-time job. I've had several of those. You have to understand, he was expecting his first grandbaby.
Yeah.
We were in very different seasons of life. And he had the foresight to come to me and say, I don't think that I'm in it for the long haul. So we need to find a way for me to exit Swift Paws without crippling the company from moving forward.
Oh, so was that a major bomb that just dropped?
I literally remember the moment because he walked in and we're in the middle of trying to assemble, because we still to this day do all the assembly of our home products here. And so we were literally like soldering wiring harnesses. He and I were arriving early. We're trying to knock this out. We brought on a few people just to help during that time. And I remember him coming to me and saying that. And I was like, what do you mean? It's just getting good.
So you were totally blindsided.
Completely.
There were no little crumbs that led you to like, oh, I think he's starting
I am
to feel.
sure that if I could look back on it now.
There probably was, but you were on it. You're in your own season.
I was an
of
exuberant 20-something-year-old. I had energy for days. I was only tunnel vision on this is the good part, right?
Yeah.
So I felt blindsided, and I also felt like, why would anybody want to get off the ride now? This is
right. This
but
is amazing.
he'd been in business before. Like he saw the writing on the wall, and he was like, look, like I want to get a sailboat and I want to sail and I want to do, and he was in a very different season of life.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think was incredibly kind, because look, any relationship, you're going to butt heads, right? We did not always see eye to eye. We had our fair share of discrepancies and arguments, but we both had a ton of respect for each other. We were friends first. We, families knew each other for so long. And he truly cared that it wasn't going to disrupt the business's ability to move forward.
I mean, that's a sure sign of it right there, that respect to be so transparent and tell you, hey, I'm just in a different season. But I see so much potential in where this could go. So he could have easily just kind of faded away. But
absolutely. And he didn't have to do it that way. And so I'm so grateful for that too. But at the same time, neither of us had ever had to deal with that kind of a split. So we didn't know how. And actually it took, so that was it was like February of 2019. And we didn't actually follow through with our agreement for me to buy him out until November of that same year. So it took the better part of that year.
Yeah, to work through all the details.
Absolutely.
So how did you do that?
Oh, so many ways. So that's actually the same time where he actually found weVENTURE.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah, so he was interested in like resources locally for people in business. And he saw something about weVENTURE. He said, Meghan, I think we should go in and meet with them. Because the other thing was, as a 20-something-year-old, I don't care what degree you have. Like there's an amount of business acumen that if you've never been there, you really have to understand what it takes to run a business.
At Valley Bank, there isn't a how we haven't heard.
How? How do we pay for these?
How do I pass down what I built?
How do we grow with someone who gets it?
How do I go from here to there?
How do we afford a bigger place?
How do I make this work?
Listening is how.
Understanding is how.
Caring is how.
Valley Bank, that's how.
And so he was also interested in getting me into a position where I would have the tools I needed and the resources I needed to be able to take on the business.
Absolutely. That's so
absolutely.
amazing.
Truly. Like I rewind and like there's things I'm not proud of because like I was kind of pissed. I was like, hey, why would you want to do this now?
We're doing so well.
But in hindsight, I'm like, you did me a solid. Some real favors.
Pointed you in the right direction. Walked you in the door.
You really did it the right way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we went in and we sat down and found out about the Ignite 360 program. And so I ended up going through that program and it helped me with several things. Like one was, can I really take this on? What does it take? Let's make a business plan. You know, we'd never really done that. And I had never really done that.
Right. It kind of just kept evolving. You guys just jumped in and
one
did the
thing at a time. And it was so clear. It was such a very simple business at the time. Like go to an event, meet a dog trainer, sell them a thing. It was so simplistic. Yeah. And now you've got an e-commerce business and you've got a website and you're selling, you've got all these Kickstarter orders.
More than one audience.
You have to think
so many layers.
We had never advertised. Like thinking about advertising. Oh my gosh. Like it's a real startup now.
Yeah.
And so getting connected with weVENTURE and the Ignite 360 program, I went through that program and it was like I was slowly watching myself buy into the fact that I could do it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, my team there, the mentors, the meetings, and like I'd go home, I'd do my homework. I was a very good student. It's like a whole other business
degree. This is how to become a boss, a CEO.
Yeah.
It's so cool to hear that as your reaction instead of the, oh my God, this is too much. I'm overwhelmed. I'm out.
For real. And I think sometimes we don't ask for help until it's too late or until we don't know where else to turn.
Right.
Yeah. And that has been a lesson too, is like ask for help before you think you need it.
This is John.
Yeah.
Again.
It is.
Because of his experience, his life experience.
Foresight. Yeah.
Right.
He was like, I'm going to be turning the reins over So
I need to make sure she knows how to drive.
it's like, and she needs to know who to go ask for help when she,
for help
he gave
early
you a
on.
support system, the tools, the mentors.
Oh, John.
That's amazing.
Oh, John. Thank you, John.
John.
He just sent me a really nice message for my birthday. I have to reply. Yeah, it was my birthday this past Saturday. So.
Happy birthday, Megan.
Thank you.
What birthday is this?
36.
Wow, that's a good one.
And I was running a dog event in Orlando. So
Surprise.
Right?
No surprise there. It was a great birthday. And so, we still talk, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And at the same time, so we plugged into weVENTURE.
Yeah.
And also another local nonprofit, Groundswell Startups.
Yeah.
And so between all of these resources that we were getting plugged in with, the two of us sat down and we're talking with people who understood business partnerships and separation agreements and buyouts and all of that good stuff. So it did take us the better part of the year. But by November, I remember it so clearly. We completed the agreement. I bought John out.
Wow.
And talk about pulling up your big girl pants.
Ooh, yeah. And then instantly realized, so you have to imagine, we shipped all the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And that was in like March, April of 2019.
Yeah.
So the time is going to accelerate here. By June of that year, we were sold out of the first 1,000.
So
1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. It
Did
happened.
you do the advertising?
So we didn't to that point. So I think we did about 300 units. You can go back and find the Kickstarter to this day. It's like memorialized. I think it was around 300 people backed our campaign.
Wow.
Yes. And then between the end of the campaign and when we started shipping, we took like another 300 pre-orders. So we had committed over half of those 1,000.
Yeah.
So then by the time we were shipping and they were like in stock, they went in months. It was so quick.
Wow.
And I think, I totally understand, like, no shame on anybody for doing this because I get it. I think there were people waiting to make sure it was actually happening.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Because like, who hasn't seen a Kickstarter campaign that like never shipped?
Yeah.
And in hindsight, like, I see how fragile it is, like trying to build something and put it into the world.
Yeah.
It's so risky. There's so many things inside your control, outside your control that can go wrong that make it impossible to ever bring to life.
Yeah.
So once it was in stock, like people were buying it like crazy.
Yeah.
So we sell out. Now, think about Swift Paws. We don't have professional grade equipment. We don't have consumer. We have nothing.
You have nothing.
And I'm buying out my partner. So in November, I buy out John and write him the biggest check I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh.
And then I realized that the company doesn't even have enough money in its bank account to buy materials for the next 1,000.
Oh my gosh, so what do you do?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
You know what I do? I lean on all the resources I just met. weVENTURE resources, mentors, Groundswell. And that's when I realized I had to raise some money.
Thank you for listening to Her Story podcast, brought to you by weVENTURE Women's Business Center, a program of the Florida Tech Fisk College of Business, in partnership with our wonderful sponsors. Together, we are building a thriving and diverse small business ecosystem that enriches our entire community. At weVENTURE, we offer free business coaching, low and no-cost business education, mentorship, and leadership development programs to help you confidently launch and grow your business. Visit weventure.fit.edu to schedule your first free coaching session or learn more about our programs and services. No matter where you are on your entrepreneurial journey, you don't have to build alone. weVENTURE WBC would be honored to be a part of your success story.